Hello everyone. I'm happy to declare this National Public Works Week here in the beautiful city of Nanaimo. This year's theme is Ready and Resilient, which was brought home to all of us last summer when we suffered under a heat dome with incredible extreme temperatures, and finished the year with a snow globe where we saw 4 feet of snow fall within a matter of a few days and saw temperatures below freezing for nearly 3 weeks. During that time, the good people who work at Public Works for the City of Nanaimo were there ready to assist and do their job to keep our roads clear, to keep the water running, to ensure that you could flush with safety. I am really hopeful that all of the young people in particular who will watch this video to help celebrate National Public Works Week will consider a career with the City of Nanaimo working for the public. You would be part of the public service. It's important work. It's necessary to keep our city running. Whether they be engineers or planners or dispatchers or people who work in a myriad of occupations, including working on the equipment the city has to have ready to go at a moment's notice, there is a career for you at the City of Nanaimo. And I think all of us, of course, owe a big debt of gratitude to all of the workers who work for all of us. They are public servants. They're our friends, our neighbors, they're our family. Wish them well today, because they will be ready and resilient as always, as having survived through the last 2 years of COVID, delivering those important public services that we all need. Thank you.
The City of Nanaimo covers 90 square kilometers and is home to over 100,000 residents. In addition, thousands of people visit each day to work, shop, and recreate in the city. Today, we are going to show you some of the work that our team carries out around the city to help keep it running smoothly and safely.
We're a team of nearly 200 technicians, operators, laborers, and public works managers who work together every day, and for that, we are stronger together. Every day, we start our day at the Public Works Yard. Here at the yard, we keep all our equipment and materials that we might need for regular operations, special projects, and even emergencies. At the beginning of each day, mechanics start early to ensure that all equipment is ready to go for the crews. This means making sure that the garbage truck arms are all working properly, tires and brakes are serviced, and engines are all working efficiently. Our fleet operations team is responsible for the maintenance of over 730 pieces of equipment, including small equipment, mobile equipment, and fire equipment. As equipment needs to be replaced, we look to lower our environmental impact by choosing vehicles that are more efficient, use cleaner sources of energy, and are the right size for the job.
Our storekeepers are also hard at work early to make sure that parts, tools, and materials for the day's work are ready to be picked up by the crews. Water piping, new fire hydrants, service piping to connect new houses to sewer and water systems, rakes, and shovels are all ready to go. The city's purchasing team is responsible for buying everything from pens and pencils to fire trucks and dump trucks.
The Public Works Administration team are the first point of contact for many residents. They handle urgent situations and dispatch utility staff to repair broken water, sewer mains, and a variety of requests like garbage carts, broken street signs, and potholes. Each year, there are over 10,000 calls for service that are recorded from over 100,000 telephone calls and emails from residents looking for assistance or information.
Our water starts way up in the mountains west of Nanaimo, in the South Nanaimo watershed, which is 211 square kilometers in size. We rely on a good snowpack that doesn't melt too quickly to make sure that we have enough water to last through the summer. We are lucky to have two large reservoirs, one at Jump Creek and one at South Forks. Approximately 70% of the water in the reservoirs is released into the Nanaimo River to support salmon and resident fish. The remaining 30% of the water goes to the water treatment plant where any naturally occurring harmful viruses and bacteria are removed, making it safe to drink.
From there, the water flows downhill into the city. On the way, excess energy is recovered from the flowing water. 3 generators collect enough energy to power approximately 90 homes. Water is distributed throughout the city to 8 reservoirs, where it waits to be used in your home, for local businesses, and for firefighting. With climate change, we can expect to see less snowfall in the winter and a faster melt in the spring. This means there will be less water available to be stored, and water conservation is very important to ensure that this resource is managed responsibly. Our water distribution team works hard every day to make sure that the water system is working properly. The team is responsible for making repairs, carrying out inspections, and upgrading old pipes. Over 1,100 kilometers of piping is buried along the city streets, connecting every building to a clean water source. An important activity is to flush the dead ends. At these locations, silt can accumulate. Crews open the valve at the end and discharge the water through the diffuser. Sodium thiosulfate pucks are placed in the diffuser to protect the environment by neutralizing any chlorine before the water enters the storm drain. They also help to get newly built houses connected to the water system. The city is adding roughly 500 new homes every year, so this crew is kept very busy.
Workers in the sanitation department are up early every morning, cleaning the city and getting it ready for the next day. Starting before you get up, they empty garbage cans at bus stops and along the street side. They also sweep the roads and pathways, making sure that dirt and debris on the roads doesn't get into the storm drains and into our creeks and waterways. Our fleet of garbage trucks visits every house in Nanaimo each week, collecting recyclables, organics, and landfill waste. There are over 29,000 homes that we service and more than 52,000 carts that are collected each week. Since so many more people have been home in the last year, generating a lot more waste, our collection team has worked very hard and made some creative changes to how they work to ensure that waste set out for collection is picked up on time. Now more than ever, we need to focus on creating less waste. Recycling and organics diversion remains important, but we need to continue to focus on the basics. First reduce, then reuse, and last up, recycle right.
Once waste is picked up from your home, it doesn't just magically disappear. It is either processed and transformed through recycling or buried in the landfill. Clearly, the less that is sent to the landfill, the better for the environment and fewer problems for future generations to deal with. The Roads Department is responsible for the maintenance and repair of over 550 kilometers of roadways and 300 kilometers of sidewalks. In the wintertime, we focus on keeping the roads clear of ice and snow so that the city can keep moving and so emergency and transit vehicles can get where they need to go. Because we have to plow both lanes of the road, there are over 1,100 kilometers of snow clearing to be done. In the summertime, also called paving season, we repair roads that are damaged, repave sections of road that are worn out, and replace roads that are at the end of their life. A typical paved road should last about 25 to 30 years if it's taken care of. Roads that have buses and trucks don't last nearly as long as those that have bikes and street hockey games.
You know all those lines and symbols on the road? Someone had to put them there, right? Well, this is the team that does that. We have special equipment for painting long lines on the road, as well as crosswalk markings, bike symbols, and stop bars. We can only do this in the summertime when the weather is warm and dry. To make sure the lines reflect headlights and show up clearly on dark and stormy nights, we add glass beads to the paint. What do we do when it's not warm and dry? We are out inspecting and replacing all the road signs in the city. There are over 22,000 signs to be inspected each year. We clean them, make sure they reflect headlights so they can be easily seen in the dark, and replace them if needed. These signs are important for keeping all drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists safe, like stop signs, crosswalk signs, and school zone signs. The city celebrates different events throughout the year, whether it is a holiday season, an art festival, a special event, or bringing color to our streets. The traffic crew is responsible for putting up and taking down holiday lights and banners all across the city.
When you flush the toilet or do the dishes, where does that water go? Straight into the ocean? Nope, that would be pretty gross. It is collected in our sewage collection system and sent to the treatment plant to have the yucky stuff removed before going back into the ocean. Our sewer crews are out every day inspecting, doing maintenance, replacing old pipes, making sure pumps are all working properly, and installing new services as houses and other buildings are built. To inspect the sewers, we use a special robot with a camera on it to see the inside of the pipe. We can see all sorts of things inside the pipes, some things that aren't supposed to be there, like tree roots, cracks, and places where the pipe has settled and no longer flows like it should.
All of these locations are identified and logged by technicians watching the screen. With this information, our crews can prioritize what needs to be fixed straight away and make sure it doesn't become a problem. If there is a problem with a pump, it automatically sends an alarm back to the dispatchers in the administration office so they can get someone to check on it right away. We live on the wet coast, the West Coast. We get a lot of rain. All that precipitation has to go somewhere and be stored adequately so that our neighborhoods don't flood. We use a combination of natural assets and built structures to help prevent flooding. Natural assets are things like ditches, ponds, wetlands, woodlands, creeks, and streams. Built structures are things like underground piping systems and infiltration tanks. An infiltration tank is a specially built area that allows water to get back into the ground rather than flowing over the surface. In addition to helping to prevent flooding, this adds much needed water to the ground for plants and trees to use. To keep the system flowing, we clean out the catch basins every year. There are over 12,000 catch basins throughout the city. Ultimately, the collected stormwater feeds into local creeks, rivers, and wetlands before flowing to the ocean. To protect the plants and animals that live in those places, it is important that the catch basins be cleaned regularly and nothing that could hurt those plants and animals be put into the drains. To check this, samples are collected from swimming beaches and other key locations and tested to make sure that it is safe to enjoy these fun activities.
Thanks very much for joining us.